Hey, what's going on YouTube? Snoob Reviews. We're back with a new current chapter, chapter 913. Zoro repays the favor. So yeah, anyways, we're jumping back into some chapter covers with Orlumbus. And this time he's sailing out to sea. It is, let's see, 5 p.m. and he has a grateful farewell to his first pirate expedition. He failed horrendously. He didn't really do any piratey things. He honestly just did good natured stuff. But hey, we all know Luffy wouldn't mind. Luffy would be proud of his instincts as a pirate of his magnitude, a part of his crew, and yeah, no, Orlumbus saved the village, and I don't know. Heard people talk about crazy stuff happening in his little mini series on the cover pages. But at this point, it feels like maybe we get one more chapter, and that's it for these chapter covers. I mean, this could very well be the last one. Uh, well, I guess it does. I think it tells you when it's the final one. But anyways, so yeah, Orlumbus sails out and begins his adventure as part of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. So we jump right back to after Luffy and Zoro were first being inquired by Hawkins. And so he kind of just tells him, you shouldn't be here, man. You guys picked the wrong place, wrong time to be here. You know who runs this country? And Luffy being Luffy, just like, yeah, it's Kaido, right? Yeah, I'm here to kick his ass anyways, so that works out. And Zoro said, like, no, I don't. And he turns to Luffy, he's like, Luffy, anyone told us not to say that stuff. And Luffy's just like, oh yeah, I was lying. I don't know either. And just instantly, not even a change in tone or face. I think he literally just jumps right back to saying, like, I have no idea, from going, yeah, I totally know. But never one for lying. And obviously Hawkins knows what they're doing here. I don't know if he knows they're going directly after Kaido, but now he does. But he knows they shouldn't be here. And anyways, Hawkins just is kind of like, well, the probabilities of you living a month here is about 19%. Well, we've seen Luffy work with less and do more with less, so not too worried about it. I think they'll barely scrape by without being skidded by Kaido and his crew. Maybe some casualties to outsiding parties of the Straw Hats, but I think all the Straw Hats will be alright. But it's kind of interesting to hear some odds in a month. It feels like if that's the time frame for everything going on in Wano, knowing Oda's pacing, we could get some serious time here. I mean, we already know it's going to be probably a 2-year arc at least. It's probably going to be longer than Dressrosa. But, I mean, if they're giving a month time frame, we could get maybe 3 years. And that's if Oda's, like, trying to pick up the pace on some of the days. I don't even know how much time we spent in Alabasta overall. It felt like maybe 3 or 4 days. And yeah, Whole Cake Island, I mean, getting there took, I think, a couple days, but the actual whole arc of Whole Cake Island was like 2 days. Like, they landed there, I think, in the evening or the morning. No, I think it was the evening. And got trapped in the forest, and then escaped that after fighting Cracker for like 16 hours or something. Oh, they might have spent 3 days there. Maybe they spent 3 days, because then Luffy almost spends like another night fighting all of the Big Mom fleet that came to defend Cracker's reputation and the whole Big Mom pride, and fought them, and then finally got his ass kicked and spent a night in prison. But that night might all be all in one. Yeah, most of those bodies were laying on the battlefield by the time Luffy and Sanji met up again later. So either way, working that all out in my video. But yeah, no, we're gonna be in for a long one, it seems like here. But I ain't complaining. I've been enjoying Wano so far already. the whole world building has already gone through the roof. Like he's setting up a lot of stuff already. You can feel just little things it feels like he's hinting at, especially in this chapter. But yeah, let's continue. It kind of takes off in the next page. It shows Zoro just kind of looking at Luffy. He's giving Luffy this weird look. It's like, hey, where'd you get that sword? And Luffy's like, huh? Oh, yeah. He's like, it's supposed to be a world-renowned sword, right, Gozaru? I tried to figure out the whole Gozaru thing, but I haven't looked into it recently. But when I did not get a lot of information other than it's like a classic Japanese term. I think it's more like leans towards thank you or something like that at the end. But it seems like they use it like chummy to like end the sentences, kind of like Garchu or something like that. But I'll need to look into that more. My research levels need to go up a wee bit. But Zoro's just like, no, I'm serious, man. Like he says he can sense like an aura that it's like a renowned sword. It's like one of the Wado Ichimonji, or probably butchered that, but like one of the name blades or the renowned certain grade blades. And Luffy just kind of blows him off and just like, I'm running in. I'm gonna get him. He's like, come at me, you bastards. And Zoro's just like, hey, just let me borrow it for a minute, man. He's like freaking out over here. He's like, yo, dude. He's like, don't just throw the sheath. God damn, this is like a rare sword. Don't just treat it like any old thing. Luffy, I know your track record with weapons. I know your track record with armor. Just anything in general, man. Other than your fists and your own body, you pretty much break anything you touch. And Luffy's like, I'll be fine. He's like, I'm gonna cut them. And he's like, Gozaru. And Gum Gum, no. And it leaves you wondering, like, what kind of Gum Gum weapon is he gonna... What kind of Gum Gum attack is he gonna use with the sword? And of course, being Luffy, simple-minded and straight to the point, it's a pistol. Yeah, he uses Gum Gum pistol, just knocks out the dude, and Zoro's like, you just used your punch. But it's kind of cool in the background. Luffy, like, while punching, like, cut all these swords. Like, the strength of the blade is absurd. So, hey, Luffy's actually used a sword outside of Nightmare Luffy now. To some degree. But yeah, he's mostly just trying to knock dudes out the way he knows. I think thinking how to use a sword and fight through a sword, it's a bit more complex than Luffy likes to fight. But yeah, you get a nice panel of him knocking a dude out in a classic Gum Gum pistol. Gotta love it. And so yeah, the lizards charge at Luffy after he knocks out the one guy. And Luffy's kind of surprised. He's like, they're attacking me. He's like, bastard. He's like, grabs the thing. He's like, it's kind of adds a certain dynamic to all the Kaido fighters. I mean, if this is kind of how they're setting up some of these groups, is that they have mounts, and the mounts are also fighting. It adds like these squads, these massive squads of like, you're almost doubling the numbers because of their mounts. And yeah, they're not like little critters or horses. I mean, these things are like lizards and stags with massive racks. But yeah, Luffy, just grabs the lizard and just hucks it at Hawkins. And Hawkins just doesn't even flinch. He just calm, collectively pulls out, it's like this straw sword. And he pulls it out and just cuts through the lizard mount. Stabs him in the back. And you even get to see like the wisps of the straw sneaking into like the lizard in all these different spots and just piercing through it. That's just brutal. Like, Luffy's like, what's up with that sword? Oh god. He's like, hey, it was my fault, man. I threw the lizard, but like, you didn't have to kill it. Luffy's all distressed. He didn't mean for the lizard to get killed. I think he thought he'd just kind of like dodge it, and just kind of deal with it in a more humane fashion. But Hawkins ain't got time for that stuff. So yeah, it's the Warabide sword, and I'm probably butchering that super bad, but essentially it's a play on words of this sword that actually exists in ancient Japan called the Fern Shoot sword. And he changes out fern for straw, and you get the Wara Nomi, so it's the Warabide sword. And yeah, it's just essentially a straw sword, and like all the different pieces of straw shoot out, and they're individually stabbing or cutting through whatever their target is. pretty brutal. It seems like it has a lot of different uses that Hawkins could definitely influence with his straw powers. So looking forward to see the possibilities of what he could do with that. And then yeah, we get quite a few different things with his abilities this time around compared to Sabaody. We really just saw like the basic stuff. But yeah, Zoro's just like not having any of this. He's like, all right, we're busting out some of the flying blade slashes. So he just busts into like an onigiri stance almost and just cuts through hard and sends a shot flying through all of like Hawkins' men's and at Hawkins, and it cuts him like down the side of the face, like just cuts him open. Luffy's just like, wow, in an instant. God damn, I love Zoro. Zoro's just so cool, man. I love how Luffy just gets so fascinated with his crew baits, and the guy next to Hawkins just kind of like kills over as a scar, like right in the same spot that Zoro just cut. And they kind of look around, they're like, what the? Zoro's like thinking like almost like he went a little too hard, he's just trying to get Hawkins. And Hawkins is just like, as expected of you. Luffy's like, and Hawkins just, life minus. So yeah, we've seen this ability before. He essentially uses what's called straw men. They're like these little voodoo dolls that he collects, and essentially he comes in contact with certain people, and it seems like this time around they're more of his like subordinates, like people of Kaido's men or samurai who are working under the Shogun and Kaido that worked for them in tandem. But he's got a bunch of these different people who essentially all over. He's tapped into their resources to use their life in exchange for his, but he has a limit to this. There's an upper limit to it, and he can only use 10 copies. He can only make 10, so he can then die 10 times, which, hey, that's pretty good. But, I mean, we saw earlier, Kizaru in Sabaody just, shoots like 10 laser beams into him that are all deadly as it is. Just about kills Hawkins. So, it's not that it doesn't have its trade-offs, but it seems like a very useful ability at that, though. But hell, you have to be able to sacrifice people, so he's got to value his own life more than others. And, yeah, then he releases out this new ability, and this is something we have yet to see. We've seen him take, like, his, like, scarecrow form where he turns into one. But this one, more or less, seems like he summons out this scarecrow, and it seems like there's a certain set of conditions that he has to meet each time. This kind of reminds me of not Gin, what's his name from Hunter x Hunter, Kaido. Yeah, I think it's Kaido. He has this ability with his net. Yeah, his Nen ability. Essentially, he has this weapon that changes. It's a random number each time he pulls it out, and he has to use that weapon, and it's like successfully kill or like somehow use the weapon to its extent before he's allowed to roll for another chance at a different weapon. So it's like sometimes he could get like a killer trade out, and other times not so much. And that's where it is it's like he's risking having a really crappy weapon in turn for having more power than he should normally. One thing that's fun about Hunter x Hunter, just bringing that up in One Piece for some reason, but it's a nice tie-in. And then abilities are cool, the way you trade off, except for Gon. I mean, he literally just escaped out of some shit he shouldn't have. But either way, so yeah, Hawkins summons this creature, and it seems that they play a game. He's like, they're starting a game, and we'll start with my straw man's card. So he pulls out this dude, and he's like, I'm not honorable enough to simply fight two of the worst generation head on. He's like, you guys are considered my equals, if not greater. I mean, Luffy's sitting at a 1.5 billion berry bounty, so he's got to be somewhat intimidating, even though he's somewhat moronic. But Luffy's just like, whoa, it's kind of scary and a little off-putting, man. Like, you can come up with a cooler ability that's not as scary. Zoro just kind of sits back and is like, man, tougher than I thought you'd be. That's to be expected. Zoro's all excited to fight. He starts licking his blade. And Luffy's just sitting there like, a game. why are we playing a game? I thought we were fighting. And Hawkins doesn't really pay attention to them. He's just like, all right, let's start. Pulls out the Fool's card, and apparently this card is not in his benefit. Like I said, talking about abilities that work for you and work against you. It's friendly fires, so his crewmates just start, like, it looks like just cutting and fighting each other, They literally have no control over it. They just kind of go berserker mode. And Hawkins loses another life. One of his straw men just fall out of him again. So we're at a count of 8 now. So I don't know if that's going to play in later, but 8 so far. He's made a point of showing 2 distinct scarecrows disappear and telling us the amount of counts he can build up. And so Luffy... And so Hawkins is like, oh, yeah. My bad. These cards can be risky, but they help me surpass my limits. And because of that, it's worthwhile. He's like, once I draw a good card, you guys will begin singing the right tune. You'll see the capability. You'll see what I'm capable of. And so the Kamenu, or the Kamena Chio, I think is his name. But anyways, he comes charging up. Just picks up Luffy and Zoro. He's got like tears in his eyes. He's freaking out. And Luffy and Zoro are like, what the hell's going on? Why is he freaking out? And they run off and they realize Tama is like fallen into way worse condition than she already was. She's like pretty close to keeling over now. So the dog's freaking out, flustered and worried, trying to save Tama because she's the Kamenu is a loyal pet of Tama. And Zoro and Luffy understand, like, all right, we got to deal with this Tama situation first. We can't even fight these guys. We're going to lose this little girl. And Hawkins is like, no, we're not letting him get away. And he pulls out another card, and it's the Hierophant card in reverse. So apparently in reverse is like more towards his benefit. And because they pulled this card later, and I was kind of confused about that, but we'll get to that in a sec. So he pulls it, and apparently this card is like a pursuing card. It's like, it's going to aid him in his ability to chase after them, and it seems like his power, like the intensity of the straw man that's chasing them, has gotten larger and more volatile, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But yeah, it seems a lot larger and scarier. So Zoro and them are all running, and Luffy just like, protect the kid, I'll take care of this guy, while they're riding on the back of the Kamenu. And Hawkins is essentially mimicking his motions through this straw man from a distance, and he swings at Zoro, and Zoro blocks it, which this scene looks really cool. Zoro has both swords, and he's blocking this crazy, like, wooden, like, straw blade that has all these nails pinned through it. And Zoro's like, ugh, with strength. And he's like, what is with this? And so, yeah, I think he got a boost up from his card, the Hierophant card, while they're chasing him. And Zoro's just doing all he can to block it. And nails come firing out at Zoro. And Zoro's like, oh, shit. Just like, oh, damn it. And next thing, you see, like, Zoro just, she's like trying to block all the nails, and Luffy's behind it blocking Tama. And he's like, Zoro, he's screaming to him. And Zoro's just trying to tank the damage right now. He gets caught with a couple, and ends up leaving him bleeding a little bit. He's got, like, I think a couple in his arms. One caught him, grazed him on the face. Zoro's pissed. He's like, God damn it. Like, I ain't supposed to be taking damage like this from no petty small fry like you. I'm gonna be king, greatest swordsman in the world. And so he just, like, tough as nails, ironically, just stares back and sends back. It's called Nigiri Toro Summon. And just cuts down this whole straw man, just cuts him in half. And Hawkins is just kind of staring back, bemused. He's just like, it's kind of cool because this is one of the few times I've seen with Hawkins that we actually, like, see somewhat of emotion out of him. Usually he's just, like, calm and just, oh yeah, no, the odds are in my way, or I know the odds will leave right now. He never seems worried. He seems pretty confident in his abilities, confident in the way he can assess and handle a situation. And his men are freaking out because, you know, different ones are just getting cut down right and left. So now we're at 7 because when they cut down this big straw man, he lost another straw man from his actual collection. And yeah, I'm sure his subordinates are like, I don't want to be next, dude. Like, I don't like just dying for you when you're the only guy doing the attacking. Next, Hawkins pulls another card, and it's the Hierophant card again. But it's a support card, so it just changed how it actually handles. And it's supporting the Straw Hats. It's actually helping Luffy and Zoro escape, I guess. So, there's some person who's going to help them, and we get introduced to that person pretty much immediately after. And she's going on about how strong they are, very strong samurai. And Luffy and Zoro are like, who the hell's on this commando with us? And she's like, I can't believe you were able to fight off Hawkins. And we get introduced to the tea house owner, Otsuru. I got a bit to say about Otsuru, because, I was reading through the chapter again while clipping some of this, and noticed something. And she, she's like, earlier I was saved by Sir Green, which I really enjoy her name for Zoro. But she's like, my name is Tsuru. And so, first thing, looking at Tsuru, all along her kimono, God, I could not say it. Kimono is not a hard Japanese word. That's a pretty commonly known one. Yeah, the kimono. And you see all these swans across it. And then I noticed on her hair, the hair branch. Oh man, I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. The brochet, whatever that thing is, the thing holding up her hair, has a Kozuki clan symbol on it. And she seems like she's kind of a geisha. And so I found a lot interesting about her. It's like, so she seems to know the Kozuki clan in some way. And then as we get into the chapter, we learn that, she knows who Tama is. She's actually met her and been to the Yamasagi village. She's helping defend some of these people who are dealing with the less concerned areas of Wano, these areas that are kind of just being treated like wastelands in comparison to the capital. And so we find out she was hiding in the dog's tail the whole time. And she's like, I may have overstepped my boundaries, but isn't that Otama? She's like, from the Amasagi village? Or Amigasa. Can I not say Amisaga? Amigasa. The Amigasa village. And Luffy's like, oh, do you know her? And she's like, oh, she drank that dang river water? She's like, oh, instead of going to the doctors, just come with me. Come to the tea house. Which is kind of weird, because, it's kind of weird, because we just got done listening to Hitetsu, say, get her to a doctor, beg if you have to, or if you come in contact with some allies. But because she knows Otama, it makes me think that she may be the allies that he was talking about, that these people would treat her for free, and Otsuru seems like the type of person who wants to help Otama and has recently been saved by Zoro and Luffy. So I don't think there's going to be any issue with her helping out in this situation. But Zoro and Luffy are kind of like, why are we going to drink tea at a time like this? This kid is, just about to die. She's like, you've got it wrong. She's like, we're going to go boil some herbs. She's like, the river poison that are effective against the river poison that she has. She's like, I'll show you. Just come with me. She's like, please let me repay you. She's like, I'll take care of your wounds, Sir Green. Which, again, the Sir Green crap, everyone fixates on Zoro's hair. You think it would get tiring at some point, that's all people want to talk about is his damn hair. So yeah, they get ready to head off to Otsuru's house and try and figure out if they can actually help Tama. She's on the verge of death, so they're bum rushing there. And then we get this cut to the place they're heading. But it's Wano Country Curry, Okaboru Town, the town of leftovers. So, ominous enough. Initially, when I was reading this, I was thinking it was like a bunch of people just, stranded out here that were undesired and nobody was taking or helping. And it may be that to some degree. But more or less, it seems like it's set up around food. Like, not the whole village is like only Literally, it's leftovers, like just scrap whatever they can collect or get from others to get by. Nothing's being manufactured or grown here because again, 90% of Wano, other than the capital, is pretty much a wasteland, just not doing well. They can't grow crops. Most of the people are starving or getting sick from the water or the contamination. And so, yeah, it seems like a lot of the other villages are just scraping by to do what they do. And the Amigasa village is, just 2 people at this point. So, Luffy's super grateful to Otsuru for helping them. And so they come in here and we get to see this conversation. It's like, you can't pay your rent, right? Let me help you out. Okiku? Let me make you my wife. Never have to work again. You'll be able to eat delicious food from the farm every day and you'll never get hungry again. Yeah, offering her like probably the dream life in Wano right now, seeing as the state of the actual country is. And we get introduced to Okiku. And Okiku is a lovely lady of One Piece we just got the pleasure of meeting. And I'm sure she'll play a bigger part in One Piece too. I think Tama's going to be a way more influential character, just how it seems she's set up. But Okiku also being brought in, I could see her being a love interest of the Shogun. I could also see her being some relation to Odin or even Momonosuke in some way. But yeah, so she's like, well, my social standings are different from yours. If you aren't going to place an order, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And, the guy, he's just like, I don't want any of this shop's food. The dumplings, the tea, everything here is made from leftovers. He's like, hey, haven't you heard of me? I'm the Yokozuna from the capital. I'm Wano country's strongest sumo. And we get to meet Urashima. And he's a pretty massive dude. He probably tears it up in the sumo ring. And he's carrying 2 blades, so he's either doing that for show or he's somewhat proficient in blades. But I would imagine most people are in Wano, especially the men, since it's traditional Japan. But Luffy and Otama and Otsuru and Zoro come rolling in on the Kamenu, and Okiku's like, oh, Otsuru-san, and Urashima is just like, nuisance. So apparently Tsuru watches over Okiku and helps her deal with Urashima, who's probably been pestering her for a while now. And he's just like, hurry, go and boil, or oh no, sorry. She's like, hurry, go and boil some jigen grass for me, which is apparently a grass that traditionally was used in Asia to actually help with stomach pains and fever. It's just spelt a little different from what the actual spelling of that plant is. It's a form of potentilla that traditionally they would, boil down the teas to help people with stomach pain. Otsuru's telling her, she's like, oh, Otama-chan, drink the water. And Okiku's like, oh god, no. She's like, I'll make it immediately. So she's on the rush. Like, they really all care about her. They know Otama, so she's definitely a beloved person within this area. And then for something completely unrelated, not unrelated, but something that, just we're not going to get anything about this chapter, and relatively short chapter this week, only 15 pages. But a nice tie-in nonetheless, because everybody's been wondering, where the hell are the Law Pirates? And we get to see Beppo and Penguin and the other dude that has a name that's probably somewhat easy to remember, but I can't remember, so we're gonna look it up right now while I'm talking to you. And his name is Shachi. Shachi. And yeah, Shachi's there, and they're all up on this mountainside, and they peep down and they see Luffy and Zoro. They obviously know it's them. They obviously causing a big ruckus. And, Penguin's like, aren't those the Straw Hats? And Beppo's like, should we go call them over before they cause trouble? And Shachi is just, you know, Beppo, you stand out more than anyone here. And you gotta love his hair's all in a tie up. You know, he's got it all tied up in this like ponytail, this high ponytail. And yeah, Penguin and Sachi are still rocking their standard hats. But I love the kimonos are all law pirate themed kimonos. So yeah, I'm sure nobody of Kaido's crew is familiar with that. But no, it's cool. It's cool. One, I know a lot of people like Beppo. I've been missing him, and you know I was excited to see Beppo. I'm also interested to see where the Law Pirates are. So we may get into some Law Pirate stuff next chapter. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if we jump over and see what's going on with the rest of the crew that just landed with Luffy, or even back to Robin, Usopp, and Frankie, and you know maybe even Kinemon and Kanjo. I mean, literally anything's on the table right now. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of structure other than the Zoro and Luffy adventure right now, which, hey, I'm all for. Reviewing the old chapters with Zoro and Luffy early on, tons of fun. I mean, they're just perfect for each other and imperfect for each other. And then, yeah, oh yeah, before I leave, I also noticed this. Nani? Damn it! It's not even Oda's fault. I can't even be mad at the Goda himself. Shonen Jump's gonna be on break next week, so we gotta wait another week. But hey, we'll try and bust out some more of the old school chapters, get through some of those, and start getting to the really good stuff. But yeah, we'll be back in Wano 2 weeks from now. Anyways, you guys, this is my chapter review of 913, Otsuru Repays the Favor. And it was a fun one, and looking forward to more. Thanks.